All right, so in this week's edition, this is going to be like our New Year's Eve, not New Year's Eve, but our New Year's
Eve.
Yeah. Well, by the time this comes out, it might be 2021. So.
Never thought it would get here.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, this year has been brutal. So, all right, this week we're doing our last episode of 2020. We've got a very special guest who's joining us today. He's a brother in arms. He's actually been doing this longer than we have. Chris from Stories from a Bar is joining us today. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, man. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well.
Excellent, thank you.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna be talking to Chris coming up here in the next few seconds.
The Capital Brew Podcast with 20 North Dave and Nick Lee. What's brewing in the 518?
All right, now play intro music and bada bing. Here we are.
I'll see if I can get what's his name over here.
All right, so yeah, man, it's been a crazy year.
Professional.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I am drinking some, actually I picked this up at the store this morning, some Common Roots Good Fortune IPA.
Awesome.
Wow.
Have we done a Commons Root beer yet?
Not that I remember, but you know how my memory is. It's like Swiss cheese.
Well, tell me.
I don't think we did.
Yeah.
Common Roots is where? It's in Glens Falls, right?
yeah.
You know, that's, according to a lot of friends of mine, that they make excellent beer.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
it's certainly worth our trip
Yeah, man. Anytime I
to
go
head
out
up there. They're technically in 518.
if I go
Right?
above
Capital.
if I go above Saratoga, there's two places I'm stopping. I'm going to Oscars and
Oh,
I'm going
yes,
to
absolutely.
Common Roots.
Thank you so much.
Oh, there.
Have you checked out their new brewery yet?
No.
Yes,
like I said, I've never been up there.
I've been there. I've been last time I went to Paradox. No, I didn't go to Paradox. There was the trip before that. I went to 4 breweries. I went to Bolt Landing, Adirondack.
That's the one in Lake George, right?
Yep. And then I also went to Paradox, and then I went to Common Roots.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
All right, Chris, we're gonna do a shot real quick.
Happy
All right.
holidays.
All right. Salud.
So, I'm not sure what we're going to discuss today, but how was your Christmas, speaking of holidays?
How about you, Chris?
What are you doing? What are you doing shots of?
Oh, that was Jameson.
Actually, that was Tullamore Dew. I don't want to give it the listeners the wrong idea. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But so how was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good. My Christmas was it was Jess, the beautiful Jessica, the dogs, myself. I made homemade cinnamon rolls.
Really?
Yeah, bro, they were phenomenal.
No.
Well, the only thing I'll say is that like I made a dough. The homemade, everything was all homemade.
Yep, from scratch.
And the dough didn't really rise the way I wanted to. So they were a little dense, but otherwise they were phenomenal.
Now, did you make the icing?
I did.
Because obviously that's the most important part.
I made it with cream cheese,
Yep.
powdered
Oh, wow,
sugar,
wow.
vanilla,
Wow.
cinnamon, a little bit of pinch of nutmeg.
I think next time just make the frosting. Eat that.
it was so good.
That sounds so delicious right now.
It was. It was.
I'm on beer number 3, so I'm starting to venture into the munchy
there you go.
territory.
Is it? Are they all the Common Roots? That's what you've been drinking?
No, I had some. I'm drinking my Common Roots right now, but some Brown's Pale Ale and Brown's Crushed Golden Lager.
Oh, nice.
Before this, and I've been drinking a lot of that because they had some case sales a couple of weeks ago, so I kind of stocked up.
That's when you do it.
What are we drinking?
We are drinking Genesee 12-horse ale.
A special edition.
It has left the regular production line, but fortunately, Genesee has seen fit to bless us with the 12-horse ale over the holiday. Maybe I used to drink this when I was a little bit younger. My dad was a huge Genesee fan, and he would occasionally have it in the fridge. And for certain, like, not holidays, but like certain occasions, he would have the 12-horse ale. And I will say this: a lot of people have probably wrinkled their nose when I mentioned Genesee.
Oh no!
I realize that it doesn't, amongst our people our age, it doesn't have a positive connotation. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the 12-horse ale is a good, tasty beer. No bitter aftertaste. No, everybody says they get the somethings the next day. I can't say that this beer is like that.
No.
I want to say it's almost like an upscale version of their regular Genesee.
For sure. And
It's the Acura of the Hondas.
there you go.
I don't know if I That just popped into my head.
But if Chris could probably contest to this, somebody who I imagine he doesn't own a bar like you do, and probably spends a decent amount of time stopping at breweries and trying a lot of different beers. That cream ale right now is kind of like that hot flavor. Everybody is kind of making a cream ale right now.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. I had this conversation with the guys from Real McCoy when I talked to them because they were making a cream ale, and it was delicious. And it's at the time, maybe that was like 6 months ago or so. You weren't finding it everywhere.
Yeah,
it's not as. Places are IPA heavy. So when I see it, and they had a great cream ale, it was delicious.
I don't. The last one we had, right?
They had the one of the Great Flats.
Yeah,
that's Dad's Jeans.
That's what he was just. Yeah.
I mean, I went back there and bought growlers of it and brought them home. I seriously was excited, and I will say this to the listeners: we a couple customers of mine, like about a month and a half ago, asked if I could get Genesee Cream Ale,
and I seen it on Facebook.
I got it, and I said I will get it for you guys. Let me tell you, we got like 4 30-packs. They're gone. Oh. I sold them all.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's selling. I mean, I got to give credit to a couple customers of doing all the heavy lifting, but I mean, it has sold like very well considering how well I thought it would do. I mean, I don't think it's just because it's a cream ale. I think some people see the Genesee and they're like, "Ooh, back to my roots."
Yeah,
type thing.
There's a nostalgia factor right there.
There is. I haven't had one of. I haven't had a Genesee in years. I actually don't even remember the last one I've had.
Well, this one was for you here.
I don't know how to Skype that over to you.
We usually stuck the lights.
If only it was that easy. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks for letting me do this virtually.
Oh yeah, no problem.
We are missing out. We're actually at the bar.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd love to be doing it in person, but I've been trying to dial it back a little bit. Girlfriend has asthma. I run errands for my mom, so
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I still have to work, so I'm trying to be a little more cautious these winter months.
Yeah, for sure. Like I obviously you work with the public. I work with the public.
Man.
So
every day I'm stuck.
Yeah, I mean we're also I'm pretty cautious. We normally we'll cut out ourselves a corner of the bar where there's nobody. I bring disinfectant, re-disinfect everything. But at the same time, if there's no reason to risk it, don't risk it.
Yeah. Nick, what do you do?
I'm not well. All right. So normally I work in digital marketing. I'm currently not doing digital marketing. I lost my job due to COVID. One of the reasons why I started the podcast. And I've picked up a job at an area, let's say tech company, selling entertainment products and tech products.
All right.
How about you?
Nice.
What do you do when you're not podcasting?
So I edit technical manuals for the Navy, basically,
nice.
for Navy sailors. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
So I work with a lot of engineers. It's a lot of project management stuff.
Cool.
So I've been fortunate enough to hang on to a full-time job these days.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like something you could do remotely too.
Actually, I can't. I can't do it at home because all of the material's classified to some extent.
Oh yeah.
You can take it out.
Secured connections.
So unfortunately, I can't print at home. So, and it was funny because when everything first started happening and places were starting to try to work from home, they tried that with us. So we were doing various other tasks at home, like self-learning, self-improvement stuff. But then I'd have to go to the office 20 hours a week. Yeah. So really I was trying to do 40 hours worth of work in 20 hours while I was in the office because I couldn't bring the real important stuff home.
Yeah, it seems kind of like after 2008, a lot of businesses outside of COVID and your time restrictions that you have in the office, I mean, alone, after 2008, like pretty much you ended up wearing a lot of hats no matter where you went, and you did a lot of work in a short amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of prepped us a little bit for it, but, like I said, it's better to be at work doing something than sitting on the couch doing nothing.
Oh,
it depends on if you're getting paid.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'll gladly sit on my couch and get paid.
Yeah,
that's true. I took this week off, so there's been a lot of sitting on the couch.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah. Imagine a lot of people right now are trying to use up their vacation time before the year rolls over.
Well, those people that obviously lose their vacation time when the new year comes in, which is ridiculous. But
now my girlfriend also works for the federal government, and she's worked there for so long. She pretty much works 10 months a year. She has like 8 weeks of vacation.
Wow.
And when she doesn't use, she gets paid for and some stuff. So.
Some people's lives are vacation, so.
Yeah, true.
It was use it or lose it time for me. So I took the week off, did half days last week.
Awesome.
I recently started a movie podcast with some other buddies.
Oh, that's cool.
We do that. We've been doing that weekly, watching bad movies and reviewing.
Oh, that's fun. That's a lot.
Does it have to be a bad movie?
No. It's just it's the way it. Like we change topic ideas every episode because we get drunk and just start laughing and talking about what would be fun to do. It's called Popcorn and Pints. We've been doing it on like Saturdays on Facebook. At one point we were doing just 80s movies from when we were kids, rewatching them.
Like Toxic Avengers and the Swamp Thing.
And we're like, hey, why don't we pick an actor that one of us hates?
Yeah.
And then have to watch one of their movies. So we're on that kick now. But we just put together some kind of like randomized deal.
Who's your actor?
Who was the actor that you guys hated?
That's what I'm saying. Who did you pick?
I picked Vin Diesel. I can't stand him.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a great one.
But he was 90s.
It doesn't matter what year.
Okay.
What year?
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
What were some
That's
of the other
a really
ones?
good one.
One guy actually hates Tom Cruise.
Oh, really? I can see that. But Color Money is such a good movie. Risky Business. There's so many good movies out there.
And then my one buddy I made watch a bunch of Nick Cage movies.
There you go.
He really hates them.
That's a great one. Now that's not even so much that you hate him. It's just his acting is terrible.
When I say Nick Cage movies, I'm talking about like the more recent ones that nobody's heard of or knows that he still makes movies.
Drive Angry, for example. Come on, that's one of the most recent ones. It's like watching a ship sink. Like it's on, and I'm like, there's other good stuff to watch, but I go to it and I watch it because it's so fucking bad. Okay, I got a quick question. What was the term? It was Terrell Owens.
Oh.
Chris, have you ever heard that term, Terrell Owens? Get your popcorn ready.
Oh yeah, but did he start that or was it Chad Ochocinco?
Oh, he thinks it might be Chad Ochocinco.
No, it was definitely Terrell Owens.
Well, okay, that's one vote for Lee because Chris, you definitely knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
All right, you're lucky. One. Mr. Miller wouldn't know. Thank God.
Yeah, we get random topics. Like, what was it last week? We were talking about words people don't say anymore. Like supper and
trousers.
Yeah. Nice slacks.
Trousers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, I mean,
stuff.
is it soda or pop?
Yeah.
That's geographical.
Yeah. We talked
that is. You know what? I've learned that.
It's Syracuse is kind of your cutoff point. Like beyond Syracuse, it's pop. East of Syracuse, it's soda.
Now, when I lived
That's funny. I was going to say that because I work with a guy from Buffalo that calls it pop.
Definitely.
Like, it seems like the farther west you go, it turns into pop.
Yeah, the line of demarcation, I want to say, is like between Utica and Syracuse.
Now, when I lived in Texas, people would say soda water. Like, hey, I'm going into the corner store. You want anything? Yeah, give me soda water.
Now, see, I would think you were thinking club soda.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. But they were talking Pepsi.
Well, really?
Coke. Yep. It's crazy.
Dave, I'm a big fan of 20 North, especially the Waynes. But how'd you get 20 North going? I'm not even sure how it started or how long it's been around.
Now we're into our 13th year. My partner and I, Eric, we were working, for other local establishments, and we decided, listen, you're never really going to get very far if you're just working for somebody else in a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like a manager or whatever. If you really want to, I guess, I don't know what the term is, move up. I guess if you really want to, I don't know.
Break the glass ceiling.
That's not quite the term, but you want to say, you want to move up the corporate ladder, I guess you say. You want to be an owner. I mean, not necessarily you're going to get wealthy, because I can attest to that. But you're working for yourself, and you are at the top of your employment. You know what I mean? You're the boss. You're the owner. So we got together and we said, listen, I think we can do this bar, tavern, restaurant gig as well as anybody we're working for. So why not? Why do it for someone else? Yeah. So
nice.
Essentially that was it. You said to yourself, if this is going to be our chosen profession, if we decided that Eric wants to be a chef and run the kitchen, and I want to be out at the bar, why not do it for ourselves? Why work for someone else?
Exactly.
So we got together and we decided that we looked around and we wanted to be here in Schenectady. At the time, Schenectady didn't really have much in the way of a
nightlife,
a social scene. Yeah. And
it's certainly changed a lot over the last decade.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we found a place right here on Broadway that we thought was a good location, and it was already somewhat set up as a bar. This building had been a bar, a restaurant before, so it wasn't like it took a lot to
be with the bar in.
Yeah, well, there was a bar in here, and there were booths, but they were all old and not good quality. So we replaced it all, but the setup was here. You know what I mean? And that's really all it was. We decided that if that was going to be our chosen profession, we might as well do it for ourselves. And that's it.
Nice. It's funny because whenever I've talked to people that are familiar with Schenectady or been in the area, maybe even people from farther up north or west, there's been a couple times where people have mentioned specifically 20 North because of the wings or the beer select. It
has certainly given us some popularity or renown, I guess is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, and I missed the wing walk so much this year. Yeah. That was such a disappointment.
Yeah, unfortunately, you gotta make those changes for this. It wasn't necessarily a bad way to do it from an owner's standpoint. I got to admit that trying to pump out a couple thousand wings in a few hours on 2 standard size fryers is almost impossible. So, the way they spread it out over the week actually made it a lot easier on. Now, that might not be true for every restaurant, but certainly for our restaurant, I know that we have the reputation for wings, but we have a very small kitchen, and it was never designed to be a full restaurant kitchen. A couple fryers, a flat top, and a grill. That's pretty much it. And
that's all you need.
Having the week spread out, the walk spread over the week made it a lot easier on our kitchen. I will say that. I mean, I realize I'm complaining, but let me tell you, that wing walk. I mean, we can't even make wings or other food for other people on the day of the wing walk.
Yeah.
It's all wings in the fryer for the wing walk. People come in, hey, we'd like to get food and wings. We're like, nope.
Yep.
Can't do it.
It's
just simply all wings in the fryer.
Sorry, my dog came out charging and barking.
It's all good.
That's fine.
I got a few dogs.
He's probably smarter than some of our guests.
I mean, you guys, having a kitchen that small, it's awesome that you become so well known just for your food, your wings, not even just the wings. I got to give all the credit, obviously, to my partner, Eric. He's done just an incomparable job. With what he's had to work with and, having to deal with all the things that you got to deal in a bar on top of just dealing with the kitchen. He's done just an unbelievable job. I would have never been able to do it. He's done all the heavy lifting. He's been an anchor, and I give all the credit to him, and making sure, even though he's not making your wings every time, it's obviously his influence and his
taste the same
work.
Every time.
Yeah, his work that has really made it happen. He's really made my job that much easier. You know, people come in, they want to have drinks. Well, that's the easy part. But making sure they're happy with the food, that's the hard part. And he's made the hard part easy on me and our coworkers.
Yeah, for sure. I think also another thing that makes this bar popular, and you're on the inside looking out, and we're on the inside looking in. I walk in. How many years can I sit there? You're approachable. We've had great. The reason why we have a podcast right now is because of conversations we've had in the past.
Well, that's I never really can see that. I can't
exactly.
Like you say, I can't see that.
But
I just try to do the best I can. I try to act. I try to give people what I want. I guess you might say. Friendly atmosphere. I recognize you. It's very informal. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of pretension. That's what we were shooting for.
Yeah, it's like hanging out at your friend's house.
We let it all hang out. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows everybody. There's no pretension, stuff like that.
I can say that I will walk into this bar prior to the podcast. I would walk into this bar 60% of the time before I even see you. I'm hearing my name yelled out across the room.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick Lee. What's up, Dave?
You got a good name to yell too.
I do.
Nick Lee. Really,
it's easy.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
just 2 syllables.
That's it exactly, and you can shout it harshly, Nick Lee.
It's funny is when you go into radio, they look to change your name and do different stuff. I walked in, they said, "No, you got a strong enough radio name. You're good to go."
Perfect.
Yeah. But all right, yeah.
So what got you wanting to start the podcast then?
Well,
was it just being laid off and having some free time?
No, Dave and I talked about this for years.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, we talked about it forever. I left radio. I enjoyed doing it. Like I said, I was working on the marketing side of, running TV commercials, writing radio commercials, doing digital marketing campaigns, doing, e-blast, that kind of stuff. But you always have that itch in the back of your head saying, hey, you got to get back on the mic. You got to get back on the mic. So, Dave and I had great conversations. Dave's got a great voice. He's got a great personality. I figured he'd be a perfect partner.
Olive oil voice and guinea charm.
Yeah, there we go. So we talked about it for years, and I was always trying to get my company to buy all the equipment. And meanwhile, I was just kind of like saving up, putting a little money here and there, and then eventually I just bought all it. Broke down. My girlfriend, Terry O'Donnell, a friend of mine who's also in radio, said, "You got to start the podcast. You just got to do it." And so I went and did it.
Nice.
How about you? What made you do it?
So I have a buddy that I work with who he works in a different building now, but he runs a video game podcast called Video Game Crosstalk. And so I started talking to him about it. I would go to a few cons with him to help promote his podcast, just talking to other podcast people. I'm like, I kind of caught the bug. I'm like, this could be fun. This could be interesting. So I started looking into it. Literally, I decided to do it. And within a week, I had bought a recorder and a microphone. And I was recording my first episode.
Awesome.
But I'm like, well, what do I... Like, I can't do video games or technology. My buddy's doing that. What else am I into? I like drinking and talking to strangers. So here I am.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're told not to do as a kid.
Yeah, it's funny. Dave and I could have started a podcast on anything, but really, COVID kind of solidified the fact that we had to get the word out there for local owners. We wanted to keep it super local. We want local breweries, local bars. Guys like over at Hunters, and I've talked to Dave over at the Rock, and local places like 151. We went to all these different places, and people don't know that you can just go in, and especially when we first started the podcast, you can go in and get food and do that kind of stuff, and that they're still producing different beers, and so that was our main goal, and then also to have good conversations.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I thought of when I started this. I'm like, yeah, I enjoy doing it, but it feels like a win-win.
Yeah.
I get to help these people promote their businesses, which are all great. I get to try these beers, and really, my goal is usually just if I'm talking to a brewer in particular, just to get them talking so I can sit there and drink.
Yeah, really, ultimately, that's why we started this free beer.
Isn't that why we do everything pretty much in our lives?
Yeah, exactly.
Beer.
Yeah.
Now this is kind of off subject, but I'm not on the internet much. My fiance Jen is.
She does a great job, by the way.
And this is bar related. It's not beer. It's alcohol. But I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's the Twisted Tea. I won't repeat what the guy said because it was pretty rude. But there was two people in a convenience store, and one of them was buying a Twisted Tea, and the other guy was giving him a really hard time, and the one guy finally lost his cool and just cracked him. Yeah. And he cracked him with a big, 22-ounce Twisted Tea. Now, I'm not, the whole situation, whatever. But it's made Twisted Tea
huge.
Like, the memes are hysterical. Yeah. You're talking, everything where there's one meme I see Muhammad Ali standing over Joe Frazier with a Twisted Tea. He's float like a butterfly, sting like a tea. It's just stupid, funny stuff.
That's awesome.
But I figured it was relevant to our podcast was this Twisted Tea thing. Now here's the sidebar, because I work very closely with Mike Daniels, who's the representative for DiCrescenti, who supplies us with our Twisted Tea. Well, we've been out of Twisted Tea. Yeah. For several weeks.
Because it's been blown up?
I think no. Prior to.
Okay.
There was there was a COVID type thing, supply. They were having a difficult time. So I've been busting his balls about it before this came out, getting some Twisted Tea in here, and so this thing just blows up in the last couple of days, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I couldn't get it now. I'm like, am I ever going to be able to get it at this point? Yeah. I'm like, now it's like every single person is going out and be like, I got to get Twisted Tea. Yeah. That was just so awesome. And it really was great. This guy deserved it.
Yeah.
That's my humble opinion.
Yeah.
This
he was
guy
drunk
deserved
too.
it.
No joke. I only saw that literally maybe a half hour before we started talking.
Okay, so
the actual video. I had read about it in the last day or two.
I've seen bits and pieces, but I just finally seen the whole thing.
Yeah, I did too.
The guy was saying some
Yeah.
racial
I'm not even going to bring it up.
And one
That's
guy
fine.
just clocked him for it, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
that's funny what it does. That's funny what it does for the brand.
Oh my God! And everybody's. I'm telling you, I was actually sitting at home before I came down, thinking to myself, how much more people are going to be coming in asking for Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that demand for we go through a little bit of it. It's fairly popular.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say right now that I know I got it today. He's giving me the look over there. My bartender's giving me the look. I just got some in,
So
and
anybody
I
looking
was
for
joking.
Twisted Tea,
I was
come down
joking around with Mike Daniels. I'm like, you got to get me some Twisted Tea. Joking around because if you get me it now, it's become so popular. I could sell it on the black market.
I was going to say you
tell people start bidding on my Twisted Tea.
I was going to say you can't carry the bottles; you got to carry the cans. But it looks like you do have the cans on
I
the next
had,
shelf.
well, I wanted the cans. No, the cans. The can up top is a sip of sunshine.
Oh, I like Sip of
I
Sunshine.
wanted the cans, but the cans weren't available. So obviously, if somebody grabs one of my Twisted Tea bottles, they better not be cracking somebody in the face with it.
Yeah.
It's not as good as an aluminum can.
So, a similar side story. Do you remember last Christmas in the news, a fight broke out in Crossgates Mall at a store called the Beef Jerky Outlet?
Yes, I do recall it. That's hilarious.
That's my aunt and uncle's franchise.
Oh,
in
wow.
the area.
Really?
Yes, so they were getting all kinds of calls and comments. Celebrities were starting to retweet the video of the fight and everything.
Wow.
It was hilarious. They're like, you wouldn't believe what that did for their store.
See, exactly. They say no. What is it? Any press is good press.
Yeah.
What is that?
For sure. Well, the funny thing is that I think at the time that all went down, a friend of mine was sponsored. Jeff Levesque was sponsored by the Beef Jerky Outlet,
Really?
and that's who it is, right? The Beef Jerky Outlet,
Yeah.
and he was talking about it too.
He gets sponsored, huh? Wow, he's moving up. Is he
Jeff
a
Levesque?
spokesperson?
Yeah, well, he
Wow.
was. I don't know if he still is.
Wow. Maybe we could be spokespeople. For,
Yeah.
Like Genesee 12.
Well, it's funny because he he worked at, he pretty much lived at Vent Fitness, and he also his truck when he drives around has a big Mohawk Chevrolet sticker going down the side of it. So everything in his life is pretty much just sponsored.
It's sponsorship. Yeah. He's got it's like a NASCAR driver. All the sponsors are all over his
He
stuff.
earned it though. He's been in radio for so long. He's earned it.
Huh? I've never heard of him, but
Jeff Levesque,
I'm just
Okay.
busting your balls. I
know that name. I've
I'm
heard
just
that
joking.
name.
ESPN Radio. He was on Q. He was on The Edge before it became Q. He was on
Oh, The
GNA for
Edge.
years. Yeah.
I remember the Edge.
Yeah, well, the first rendition of The Edge. Albany Broadcasting started the second rendition of it a couple years later, but yeah.
Nice, yeah. I just did an episode with Jeff Morad for BQX.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
Super cool guy, super nice.
Yeah, when I worked over at Town Square, it seemed like 90% of that building, including, actually maybe not Jeff, but it seemed like 90% of that building came from EQX at one point or another.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, it was also, we usually do beers, and I didn't have time to stop and get beer. But I was over at CVS just prior to this. And I was going to grab 4 CVS beers and be like, you know what? We're going to review.
Do they sell beer?
They do. And I wanted to say
We should
they
do it.
do. They do. I was going to do it. But I looked, and I'm like, let me run through what they had. This is all they had. Budweiser, Coors Light, Milwaukee's Best, Natty Daddies, Heineken, and some sort of seltzer.
Yeah.
Keystone, sorry.
Okay.
Keystone. And that was it. I'm like, I don't think any of us need to test any of those beers because
No.
I'm pretty sure every single one of us has had those.
Well, also on top
and
of it,
I'm pretty amazed. The selection was pretty poor.
yes.
Like-
CVS, I didn't even know they sold beer.
They do.
I know
Which
Radiant
is amazing, in my opinion, that
Yeah.
in today's world, you literally can get beer in any store.
Yeah, true. But
Yeah.
what I was going to say is that we still have beer sitting over in the cooler over at Great Flats that we need to drink. So it's basically
Our own beers or the beers that we're eventually going to
No,
get?
our own beers. Remember we were going to do the blind taste test?
Oh, yes, I forgot
We were
about
going to
that.
sample the different beers.
Yes, damn it. I remember
Oh, man, that sounds like fun.
That was
that.
actually
we were
Harry's
gonna
idea.
we were going to do Coors Light, Miller Light, Bud
Yeah.
Light, just see if we could tell the difference between the basic
Harry was going to...
basic domestics.
Both of us are going to fail horribly, but it's still a fun concept. Harry came up with the idea that he wants...
I feel like I'd be able to taste the difference. So I want to be able to name which one
Exactly,
it was.
yeah. I mean, a couple. I
think you would.
I think I'll be able to pick out
They're
Coors Light.
actually, if you they're I've had all 3 of them extensively. They're actually pretty easy to pick out.
Okay.
You always the way I look at it is Coors Light has a watery taste.
Yep.
Miller Lite has what I would refer to as like a weedy taste.
Yeah.
And once you got those two down, Bud Light's the other one.
Bud Light to me tastes like it almost has like a chapstick taste to it. Like
That's
a plain
gross.
Yeah, I
Whatever
know.
it is.
That's just me. I've heard it tastes
Chapstick.
like.
Now, don't ruin it for me. I drink
won't.
Bud Light. Thank you.
Do you really? Well, I know you drink Busch.
Well, I mean, Bud Light is like the flagship Budweiser.
Yep.
So, like, Busch and Natty Light are their, like, now we're using another car analogy, like, they're like Nash Rambler version, like the crappy, like that's the down version.
True.
Which I have no problem with because frankly it tastes the same to me. It's like a third less money.
Yeah.
What happened to music? It's I don't know. I'll have to talk to the commentary.
Yeah, I don't pick on anyone's beer choices. I'm like, you drink what you drink.
Exactly.
I only find it funny if someone goes to a place like World of Beer or something with a huge selection and then
pick a
asks
Budweiser,
for, a Bud Light or something like that. I'm like, oh, really?
Or
I have done that.
Anybody who drinks what is it, Clamato?
Oh, yeah. That's a clam tomato juice.
Clam tomato juice beer.
Oh no, Clamato is tomato juice.
Clamato, whatever it is.
Potato. Is it Clamato? I think he's right. I think it is Clamato.
Clamato.
But
Clamato.
That's just clam juice and tomato juice.
Well,
there's a drink where you add it to beer.
Yeah. Well, no, they actually will sell it in cans of beer. Like Budweiser makes a Clamato.
Like it's got beer and Clamato in it.
Yeah.
No,
I think they call that a red eye. I'm serious. I think they actually has a name. I think it's called a red eye. It's like tomato juice in beer.
Yeah, that's gross.
Oh, it's awful. It's almost like I can't. Like if someone was like,
why would you
listen,
want to drink vomit?
Think of some liquid that you can put in beer that is the worst
Pickle
drinkable liquid that you can put in. Pickle juice is right there, but you don't drink pickle juice.
I'm not a fan of pickle juice either.
Nor am I. Pickles are good.
I don't like pickles.
But like somebody literally came up with the idea. Let's put tomato juice in beer. It's like the worst thing you could put in there. I'd rather put anything in there. Milk.
I don't understand Bloody Marys either.
Bloody Marys now, I have to admit, are quite good.
Well, I'm just saying, like people put crazy stuff like chicken wings. Like you can get a Bloody Mary in places with a chicken wing in it. What's the point?
Well, I like the ones where you can get a shrimp.
Okay.
So the people are putting like whole buffets in their Bloody Marys.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Skewers of stuff.
Yes.
I like the shrimp.
I'm like,
the shrimp, I guess maybe. I don't like Bloody Marys. I don't like shrimp.
I've never been a big Bloody Mary fan myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I like them.
I
got
vodka.
my friend. One of my favorite recipes. My friend does. He taught me. He's like, make a regular Bloody Mary. He goes and add Parmesan cheese to it before you shake it up.
I would actually I'd drink that before I drink a regular.
And then rim the No, that's not the right word.
No, it is. Yeah, salt the rim.
Salt the rim with
I
celery.
feel like it was going in a different direction.
I know that's terrible. And then salt the rim with celery salt. You know how they do a margarita, salt?
Yeah.
Take celery salt and rim the margarita glass.
With celery too.
The Bloody Mary with celery salt and add. It actually comes out pretty good.
I'm going to start using that phrase, just rim something.
Yeah, I know.
See how people
great.
react.
That's the catchphrase of this kid. So
just smash the rim.
Something.
Just rim it.
Just rim it. Yep, that's great. I can't wait till Bob's like, David heard your podcast. Just rim it. I can just hear him doing it right now.
We got a name for this podcast.
Bob, just rim it. I'm
just
going to throw
rim it.
Bob's name on it just because I know he's going to say that.
Just rim it with Chris Osborne.
There you go.
Who's Chris Osborne? I'm just joking.
Okay. That's good.
Don't worry, I get that a lot.
It was along the same joke as the Levesque joke.
Yes.
I just go by Ozzy at some point.
Ozzy? Oh, Ozzy.
Bro, you know how I love to pull back old parts of the conversation. Who's your least favorite actor?
Oh, that's tough. I hate to admit, it used to be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Oh, because he was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, okay,
he was just like so two-dimensional.
Yeah.
But in recent, and some he's done.
You can't hate John Wick.
He's done a much better job.
Yeah.
In like I think in later movies, but a lot of it was I heard about him as a person, how a generous and down to earth he is, and I'm like, you know what? I can't hate somebody like that.
You can hop
you
on
can be a
subway.
terrible actor, but if you're like a nice guy like he does, like somebody told me he like bought a whole entire bus. Like I don't even know the stories, but apparently he's very generous with his money. And he's very generous with his time. He's like I guess a very good person, like a nice guy, cool to hang out with. which actually scores a lot more points in my book because I heard about some of my favorite actors
That are
turn out
jerks.
are total jerks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I guess they say be careful about meeting your idol. You
Yeah,
know, in
no.
terms of that. But
Well,
yeah,
It's almost hard to believe some of the good stories you
Yeah.
hear about Keanu.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it's just so. I mean, who else? I mean, Nicolas Cage. I would say I don't hate him. I just think he's a bad actor.
Well, wait, let me ask you this: a bad actor in like the '90s movies or '80s when he was really popular, or more relevant, more?
No, the whole
movies?
time. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay.
But it's still the same thing. Like I watched like National Treasure. Like I watched it like 40 times. I'm like,
actually,
it's
like-
so bad.
But that's actually like one of the more
because
accessible
it's interesting.
movies.
Like, oh, you know, he's got clues. He's busting into
Yeah.
the president's house.
I mean,
You know.
I kind of grew up late '80s and '90s. Nick Cage, you know,
Yeah.
The Rock, Face Off, those
Yeah.
movies, probably the height of his
Face
action.
Yeah, true.
I know Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and
See?
he had some other '80s movies. that-
He actually did Leaving Las Vegas.
It was
Fear and
a
Loathing
Leaving
was done.
Las Vegas. That's what I meant.
But that was an absolutely fantastic movie, and he did. I will have to
He
give
did a
him,
good job acting.
I will have to give him credit. He did an awesome job, like a totally believable guy who was just basically done with life. Like really, like I have to say that's why like Nick Cage is not really up there anymore because I have to give him credit.
Yeah.
That movie was excellent, and he actually was excellent in it. So was what's her name, the Adventures in Babysitting girl, Elizabeth Shue. She's just awesome.
Do you
I
know
can
what?
say-
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can say having watched some of his more recent movies from like the last 5 to 10 years that people probably don't even know exist. I don't know where Nick Cage stops and the acting or the character
Yeah.
he's playing begins.
It is so bad. He should be on Sharknado at this point. That's how freaking bad he is.
What was that the airplane movie?
Con Air.
Con Air.
Once
Con
again,
Air.
it's
Con
like
Air.
he's the master of movies that I'll watch that are terrible. Like his southern accent, he's Cameron Poe. His southern accent is the second worst southern accent I have ever heard in my entire life. I'm going to see my daughter. Dude, the second worst. The first worst, Daniel Craig in Knives Out.
Oh, I've seen
I don't know
that.
if you guys have seen that movie,
I
which
like
is
Daniel Craig though.
a terrible movie,
It
by
is.
the way.
It wasn't that great.
Is it?
And Daniel Craig's, like, I didn't at first. I'm like, is he trying to do a southern accent,
Well,
or
it's English.
is that how he talks? I'm like, is he English?
Oh, no,
I
he did
couldn't
another
figure it
movie
out.
where
It
he-
was so bad
Where he was
that he might be. I might hate him just because of that.
what's the
He
car
might be my
movie?
choice.
The car movie, he had a southern accent too.
The car movie.
Where he was a convict and they broke him out of jail. Him and the
No, we're not talking Nicolas Cage.
no,
we're talking Daniel Craig.
Daniel
I think
Craig.
it's Quantum of Solace. Or whatever it is.
The freaking kid. Man, I'm the worst with names. Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
He did a movie with Daniel Craig, where Daniel Craig was in jail and like they broke him out to go do this heist,
Never heard of it. Thank
and
God.
he had a southern accent.
How did you know? Because trust me, the movie I saw, I couldn't figure out if he was British, Southern. I mean, had marbles in his mouth. I don't know. It was just the worst. It was so bad. Like I was angry.
Yeah, British people don't
Drive
do English
angry.
or American accents very well.
No, they do regular American accents. They do terrible Southern accents.
Yeah, I was watching a Pennyworth, not Pennywise. My girlfriend's got me now saying Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth, Butler in Batman, has a prequel on Epic.
Michael Caine.
No, it's
Michael
a
Caine.
it's a new series. Yeah, but there's like an American.
He's got a heck of an accent.
He does. He's got a great
Michael Caine.
But in the show, there's an American like CIA operative who you can tell is completely English, but she's trying to speak in an English accent, or an American accent, and every once in a while she'll let English twang come out.
Slip through.
Yeah.
The worst is having Americans try to do Irish accents.
Yeah, that's
English is okay because Americans can do English accents okay. Americans can't do Irish accents really at all.
No.
At all.
I tried. I'm horrible at
It's terrible.
No, I'm Irish. I can't do it.
It's terrible. I'm sorry. You got to
It comes out
be
sounding like the
you got to
Lucky
be
Charms guy.
Irish, real Irish to really
Yeah.
to really sound right.
It's funny you mentioned Pennyworth, the movie podcast I do with my other buddies. We just watched the 4-block Batman movies, going from Michael Keaton to
Oh,
George
nice.
Clooney.
Awesome.
Ugh.
So the 80s to 90s.
So
And
all
you
the
could-
go ahead. I was gonna say it's all Tim Burton movies.
yeah, well, Tim Burton
I don't think he did all
was
four, did
involved
he?
with the Keaton movies.
Yeah, he just did
Tim
the first
Burton
two.
did the Keaton movies.
Yeah,
I thought he did
first
all.
two.
He had a little handprint in the Val Kilmer one,
Yeah.
and nothing to do with the George Clooney one.
Oh,
and you
wow.
Can, you
Good
can
for him.
see the difference because, and because the Clooney one is just god awful. Like it's one of the worst.
It's super
things I've ever
cartoonish.
seen.
And I think
Oh,
my buddies Eric and Pete, they listen to like Stern or whatever it is, and he was on Stern, and they said George Clooney was a great interview, great interview, and they said, and he said he goes one of his biggest regrets was that Batman movie.
Oh, I believe.
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And it should have been.
I mean, he's been open. Just when I went to kind of like research some of the background behind it, he was open about saying, "Yeah, we basically killed the franchise.
Oh, destroyed
They
it.
didn't make a Batman movie for over a decade after that."
Nobody wanted to touch it.
No.
It was.
Look at the Superman movie with Nick Cage.
He was in a Superman movie.
He was gonna be. Tim Burton was gonna do
yeah.
it. They killed it.
That's that. Thank you, whoever
funny,
did that.
I did this because we were watching Batman, but I googled the term bat nipples.
Okay.
And George Clooney is the first thing that comes up if you Google bat
Bat
nipples.
nipples, 'cause
So
he had
I don't.
nipples on his-
Yeah, I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not.
No.
So didn't Alicia, what's her name?
Silverstone.
Yeah, didn't she have nipples on her suit?
I don't.
Now we
think
gotta
she
watch it.
had- no, yeah.
Well, that's so
She
messed up
didn't
that
have
they give him to George Clooney, but not her.
One thing we noticed is like they do when Batman and Robin stars, because that's the George Clooney one. Like they'll do close-ups of like George Clooney and Christopher O'Donnell getting into Batman and Robin outfits. Like they'll actually hang the camera on like the ass of the suits, but they won't do that for. They don't do it for Alicia Silverstone.
I believe
she
it.
goes to put on the suit.
You know what's funny is that movie was George Clooney's worst point, but that was Chris O'Donnell's highest point.
Wait, didn't he do like a John Grisham movie?
Probably.
He did. I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, oh no, I'm thinking
It wasn't
of,
The Firm.
Yeah.
That's Tom Cruise. Everybody else is hateful person.
Are we trying a new beer?
Chris O'Donnell. What was I going to say about that stupid movie? Alicia Silverstone. I want to say I read she retired from acting.
After that?
No, she should have. But no, I think she did.
Yeah, I
and
believe
now
it.
she just does like a normal regular job,
Oh, really?
which is kind of weird.
Is she a waitress?
No.
No, I mean she has a child, so I think she focuses on just being a mom more than
Oh,
anything.
for sure.
Actually.
She made
Yeah, but
billions of
she has
dollars
like
off
a career like in something
Yeah.
like I want to say
She's
it's
not
something like
Clueless.
Yeah, I was going to say she was made $1 billion off of Clueless. Is that Paul
she's like an activist of some sort.
Okay. Like Melissa Milano? She's an activist of all sorts.
It's Alyssa Milano.
Whatever. What did I say, Melissa?
Oh, and and she's on Charmed. She's not an activist. She's an actress.
My uncle was on Charmed.
Like the show?
Yeah, for one episode.
Really?
Yeah, he was like the devil or
Did
something.
he get to meet like there were some
I'm sure.
women on there?
Yeah. He's an actor now. He's still
Put it mildly.
My mom's cousin was the head writer of Will and Grace.
Oh, there you go. Which is that why she's from Schenectady?
Yeah, John Canali. Canali is my mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
So if you
Canali's
go
restaurant?
and look at the, what was that?
Canali's restaurant?
No, that's the Italian way. Canali with a K is an Irish
all right.
name.
Yeah, should've picked up on that.
Canali.
K-I-N-N-A-L-Y. Yes. Well, yeah, John Canali. He was the head writer of Will and Grace towards, halfway through the series, towards the end. That's my mom's cousin.
That's crazy. She has to be the reason. That's got to be the reason why Brooke. What is it? Brooke, what's her name? The main character was from Schenectady.
Grace?
The show, yeah.
Was she?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
They made fun of her being from Schenectady.
Oh, her character
Her
was
character
from
is from
Schenectady.
Schenectady.
The actress was not from
No.
Schenectady. All right.
Okay.
But my uncle, he's my stepmother's brother. So he's my uncle-in-law. His name is Jim Perry. He's been in all kinds of TV shows. He's been in a lot of video games. It's funny because I'm replaying Red Dead Redemption 2, and he's the mobster there, whose name is escaping me. But he's in that. He was in a zombie video game. I am the worst with names. I just suck at telling stories. So
Okay, now I guess we're actually getting back to
beer.
beer.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
One of my suppliers, distributors, gave me this beer. It is Deer Slayer beer. It doesn't say what kind of beer it is. It just says beer. It's made by Contra Brewing Company, 656 County Highway 33, Cooperstown, New York. So it's a Cooperstown brewery, Contra Brewing Company, and their beer is called Deer Slayer. It's 5.2% alcohol, and it does not say what kind of beer it is at all. So you just have to guess. I'm serious. It's
Deer Slayer.
It's Deer Slayer beer. Let's try it out. We're trying it out. Nick and I are trying it out. I wish you're gonna have to, Chris. You're gonna have to virtually try it.
I will. Yes.
Salud. Tastes like a Pilsner to me.
What, you say a Pilsner?
Pilsner.
It's definitely light.
Yeah.
It looks light from here.
But it's got a little cloudiness.
Yep. It's unfiltered, or it's slightly unfiltered.
Slightly, it's got a little cloudiness. But that actually, what I've read is certain beers, depending on their ingredients, if they're cold enough, the ingredients will cause the beer to cloud.
So if it gets warmer, it'll clear up.
If it gets warmer, it may clear up.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's probably a
Pilsner or lager. Lager.
It's I don't think it's an ale. I think it's a lager.
I think it's a Pilsner, just a dark Pilsner for a Pilsner.
It's very good.
It is good.
It's very drinkable in terms of not being heavy.
Obviously, doing a beer-focused podcast, I mean, what have been some of the favorite beers you enjoy in the local area?
My most favorite beer locally. That's a good question.
I can go right with the Dad's Jeans Cream Ale because that's something.
And Everyday Dick. Whitman's.
Yep. Was that what it was called? Everyday Dick? And then whatever, the Frog Alley, the Vienna Lager.
Oh, that was good.
Was excellent.
What I like about that one, it's like a nice, just classic lager.
Yes.
Quality made.
They nailed it. They nailed that. Eddie, you want this or some left? Want to try it out? Dude, seriously.
Oh my God, I'm trying to think of my favorite local beer.
I mean, I never thought of it. That's a really good question. I never really thought about that. But I would have to say that, like because everybody, like Chris, like you said, like everything's so IPA heavy, which is like my least favorite type of beer.
There is so much talent locally.
It's good, right? I like to see the non-popular beers, the non-IPAs. I like the fact that Frog Alley did a Vienna Lager. I like the fact that Great Flats is willing to take a risk and do a cream ale. Those, I hate to say, those were the beers that I like the best.
I'm gonna have to go ahead.
It's funny, everything. There is a lot of IPAs out there. I don't know if you've been out to Green Wolf Brewing, and I think it's Middleburg.
No.
They don't have a single
yes, I have.
IPA.
Yeah, really.
No IPAs. It's everything else, basically.
I have been there.
I think I did it. Yeah, I chatted with the owner and Matt and one of the main people that work there, Caleb. They're going to do a house IPA, but other than that, they wanted to focus on basically non-IPA beers.
That's cool.
So they had a real interesting selection if you go out there, all top-notch stuff.
There's a coffee shop right next door or something, too.
Oh, yeah. It's a real cool little village.
Yeah.
Like, there was a great Italian restaurant pizza place right across the street.
Yeah, there's a range there. I'll do competitions. And one day, Jesse and I, after a competition, went there.
Shooting?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And we stopped at Green Wolf Brewing.
I like that. Like they're filling a niche.
Yeah.
With every brewery being so heavily laden with IPAs, you're going to go there and you're going to find a beer. If you don't like IPAs, you're going to find something you like.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say,
if you're looking for.
If
you're looking for something that's not your standard, what you would expect to find, Green Wolf's a great place to check out.
Oh, for sure.
I touched on Real McCoy earlier because they had a great cream ale.
Yeah.
That was delicious. They have a nice little variety. They're even, I know how small they are, but they make some quality, like niche type stuff too.
For sure. To go back to the question that I have, or that you asked about, I think I've decided what my favorite beer and my favorite brewery is actually in the same place. Nope. Wolf's Hollow. And what was that? One Bag Short? That was a really good beer.
That beer was excellent, but I can't. It's tough to count that one. It was like one run, and it's not a regular.
Well, here's the deal,
and I'm not going to get it again.
One thing I do. Don't get me wrong. I do love hoppy beer. I love hop in my beer, but I also like malt in my beer. I think they do a good job of mixing malt and hop together. That it just
it's a balance, of course. That's what you're looking for. Unfortunately, IPAs, it's way out of balance.
It is, and they do. That's why I think they do a good job because there's a lot of beers like you can get like a lot of beers with a lot of hops, especially ales. Ales happen to be obviously my favorite beer. But if it's too malty, it's good, but it's not great. And if it's too hoppy, it's good, but it's not great. And when you mix, you get a good mix of the two. I'm happy, and I think that Wolf's Hollow does a better job than anybody else producing malty beers with a good hop.
Right, and they're not heavy. They're not IPA heavy
no.
at all. They do the District 6 regularly.
Yeah.
And I know they have a couple other, but their line is evenly broken up. They got the brown pulpit. They got they don't have like a majority of anything.
Yeah.
They got it spread out where, like I said, most breweries we've been to, it's a majority of IPAs.
For sure.
Like 80% of their beers. Like, and I wonder sometimes you're going to go there. Like, I know they all do something different, but it oftentimes might be something so different, like a seltzer or a porter. And I like porters, but I'm not really into them. Where you're getting IPAs, a porter, and a seltzer, and I'm like, that's still not really much. That's still not really much of a selection.
There's this bar in Troy that I like. It's called Junior's, and they have a great beer selection. But I will say, like, I went there on Monday, and they had like IPA, porter, IPA, pale ale, IPA, brown ale. So like literally the only two things I drank the whole time was a pale ale and the brown ale, just because I wanted to get away from the
yeah.
Their food there is great. Their beer is good. Another place I went to recently, and I don't know, Chris, if you've been yet. Have you been to the Doghouse?
I have not.
You got to go. And I can exchange some of the contact info with you too.
That's in Clifton Park, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast there, buddy. I don't
All
know.
right, that's fine.
They have an awesome beer selection, and their food is great. They're based on making hot dogs. And you know what they use for rolls? Those King Hawaiian.
Hawaiian. Oh, yeah.
King's
I've been
Hawaiian.
wanting to check them out.
Those are good.
You got to go. And I'll give you, Sean is the manager over there, and Benjamin is the owner of the local owner of the franchise. Both good people. I'll give you their contact info so you can hit them up. But, we're doing a podcast there soon. Their food was great. Their beer selection is awesome. The only thing I'd like to say is I'd like to see a little bit more local beer brewers from them. They had a couple. And I know that sometimes I just caught them at a bad time. They were saying that they do normally carry more local, like the Frog Alleys, the Whitmans, the Fort Oranges, the rare,
How is Whitman's? I've been meaning to get up to Saratoga and try to check them out.
Great.
It was excellent. And that was the one that was the...
That's the one. Well, one of the ones that sent us home with cases of beer.
Yes, that was the one. What was it? The beer that we liked, the light beer.
The Everyday Dick.
Everyday Dick. That was it. Of course, that's the one thing that I remember from Whitman.
Their food is good too.
They purposely, even said when we talked to them, they even said they purposely make that beer so that for the people who we were joking around before, who would walk into World of Beers and ask for a Bud Light.
Yeah.
That's who they're brewing that beer for.
Yeah,
because they know they're going to get that. Probably that person's probably there every sixth person. It just doesn't like that beer.
Every place is going to get that person, so I feel like you kind of need to have something like that on tap. I mean, it's one of the reasons. Like when people ask me for a recommendation of what to check out, I always ask them what they're looking for. Obviously, if they're happy with IPAs, I can point to just about anywhere because we have we're fortunate to live in an area with a lot of great quality stuff. And then if they want something more specialized, I'll point out like Green Wolf. I constantly pump artisanal. I love artisanal mainly because they experiment a lot. And I've said this multiple times. You can go there. If you go there a month in between visits, they could have a whole new beer menu. Like they have 2 or 3 classics that you would expect, but Kurt and Colin up there are always brewing something new and different.
Yeah,
to try to touch your taste buds
they've actually kind of blown up outside of our own area too. Like you mentioned, artisanal to people, regionally.
That Warhead's beer.
Yeah, but we have so many good breweries locally. Right, we still have so many more places to go to.
Tell more, dude. Maybe
I want to try the Back Barn too before we leave.
What?
The Back Barn. Have you done a podcast with Back Barn yet?
Yeah, man. I talked to it's
Carol?
Brenda, right? Yeah.
Or it's Brenda? Oh, maybe, yeah.
It's Brenda.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Eric has
Brenda.
dealt with them, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
talked to her early on. She's one of the most amazing people I've ever met, man. Retired military vet, cancer survivor.
Oh,
She
wow.
turned this 100-year-old barn into the brewery. I didn't talk to the brewer there. I forgot his name.
Klaus.
But Back Barn's got some good beers, too.
Yeah,
Klaus.
for sure. We're going to try one here in a minute.
serious.
Klaus.
That's
That was
Klaus.
his name,
It is.
Yeah.
I met them when they were so excited because my partner is here during the day usually, and they came down and they wanted to they wanted to get in on one of our beer lines. And Eric's like, sure, no problem. So we had the Back Barn Stout. I forget what the actual name was. It sold excellent. But I will say this. Erica, is that her name? She was so excited to have her beer in here that I almost felt like I was like I had like a warm feeling. I'm like, this woman was so excited to and all they were dropping off was a quarter keg.
Yeah.
Like her and Klaus. Like
Shut
she's
up.
like she looks in the kitchen. She's like, hey Eric, and he's busy. You know, he's like, I'm busy. I'm like, I'll take care of this. I'm like, nice to meet you. I'm so and so and so and so. She's like, I'm so psyched to get this. I'm like,
When was this?
This was now we have another Back Barn. This is the 5Bs that you have on now. But the
right
other
here?
one was the 5Bs. It's pretty good. It's a Belgian blonde.
Okay.
But the one we had was their Imperial Stout, and it was just so funny because they brought it to the back door. He's like, "What do you want me to do with it?" You know, it's one of the old style quarter kegs. It's the same size as a regular keg, but it's just half the height.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Here's the keg drop right here," and I pull up the keg drop thing, and I'm like, "Just drop it down there." And he looks at me. He's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, we do it all the time."
Yeah.
He couldn't comprehend dropping it down there. I'm like, "Look, there's an old tire down there. It's going to bounce right off it. It'll be totally fine." Like, I literally had to hold his hand. I'm like, no, you can drop it. No, go. And he's got it, and he's trying to lower it down into the keg drop. I'm like, just drop it. It'll be fine. And it drops down and hits the tire and bounces, and I'm like, see? It's fine.
Yeah.
He goes, well, don't you going to hook it? I'm like, yeah, I'll go down there, and I'll pick it up. It doesn't weigh that much, and I'll put it in the thing. But I had such a difficult time convincing him to drop the keg. I'm like, hasn't this guy seen, like, I've watched the DeCrescenti drivers pull a keg off the top of the truck and just let it drop onto the ground.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think those kegs got those
CO2's
huge
not going nowhere.
dents in them? Those like the handles all dented in. What do you think that's from? That's from them dropping a full keg off the truck. I used to see these rings in the parking lot when I worked at the Bayou. These big, perfectly circular rings in the asphalt, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" One day I was there during the day watching him drop off the kegs, and he'd get it so the weight would get it tipping off the keg that it was standing on, and he'd just get out of the way, and he'd let it drop right to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, isn't he's going to shake up the beer? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're not going to put it on right now.
No.
He's like, it'll sit in the walk-in cooler. It'll settle. I'm like, all right.
Fair enough.
And this guy, Klaus, just would not drop this
The
keg.
CO2 is not going anywhere.
I'm like, you're not going to break it. You won't break it. These kegs are built to be bounced off everything.
The only thing I can think is he's afraid it's going to go flat.
I don't know. It's sealed.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It's
don't have
not
to worry
going
about it.
anywhere.
It's not good. It's sealed. But she was so excited to be bringing that beer in. I was just like, wow.
I've reached out to them multiple times. They haven't returned any of my emails.
Well, maybe it takes me to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the owner Brenda, she was great. Amazing life story.
Yeah,
like
Nicole. I've talked to Nicole over there too. She seems to be pretty cool.
But it's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
Because it's out west.
Well,
But if you have a chance to get out there,
Yeah, I've definitely been there.
It's not too far. I mean, you got to go out Route 20?
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
Route 20. So you go down 7, take a run.
7,
20.
take a right at Jonathan's, and you head out to...
Yeah, Jonathan's.
Jonathan's is right there
I
at the
used to know
intersection.
Perillo. I used to go to barbecues in his backyard.
Really?
You remember Perillo?
I've only been there
Perillo's?
once.
Oh, really?
So I remember Perillo's. I've only been there once. I mean,
Perillo's
that's
so
a ways out. I don't usually go that far out.
Dwaynesburg. D-burg, son.
Yeah, well, no, I'm from the other side of... I'm from the other side of Schenectady.
Yeah. Well, I actually went to Back Barn for the first time 2 years ago on my birthday. My girlfriend took me there for my birthday.
Nice.
Or sorry, the beautiful.
Their beer sold very well. Let me tell you,
It's
the Back
great.
Barn Stout was a good seller, and I was actually
Good,
hoping
glad
that
to hear it.
I was hoping that we got another one, but unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but they sent us their new beer, which is a Belgian blonde.
Yeah. So tell me about this beer I'm about to try.
I haven't had it yet, so I guess we're testing Back Barn's Belgian blonde.
Do you want to try it?
I'll take a sip of yours.
Yeah, grab it. Oh, you want to take it? Okay.
It's all right.
It's very good.
I assume it's
wheat
essentially a wheat beer.
It is. It tastes like a Hefeweizen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hefeweizen.
Very strong Weiss beer. Definitely. So if I'm going to recommend it to somebody, I'm going to have to give them the heads up that it's definitely a Weiss beer.
This, by the way, has been the All-Star. I don't know if you can see that. That is
the Deer Slayer.
You gotta try that.
Dude, you know what the cool thing about the can is too? The sticker is meant to come off.
Yeah.
So you can stick it on something else.
I want it.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can put it on. It's meant to come off so you can stick it on something.
Well, all right. It's going to go on the back. I don't. You can't see the back of my iPad right here, but
Back
the stickers.
It would be the back of Chris's head.
Yes.
There you go.
We're
Yeah,
going to stick
that's right.
when
There's
this
a joke
podcast
there,
is
but I'm
over.
going to leave it alone. Yeah.
We're going to put a sticker on the back of your head. Yeah. So, before we start to wrap things
So
up.
what did you think? Wait, before you do that, what do you think of the Weiss beer?
It's good.
It has a spicy taste at
It
the end.
does.
Do you notice that?
It goes great with the wheat, and wheat is like my least favorite beer.
Really?
Yes.
Like a Weiss beer, like a Hefeweizen
Yeah.
or a Blue Moon.
Yeah, it almost has a Blue Moon. It has a citrusy, like almost orange taste to it. Yeah, I do taste the spice.
There's spice at the end of the sip. It's a very distinctive spicy taste.
But it's not overly wheat.
No, it's not.
They did a good job with that. It's not a Blue Moon. We just have that weird.
All you can
aftertaste.
taste is that. All you can taste is the Belgian, like
Yeah.
the witness.
It's got a
or
clean
whatever it
finish
is.
to it, for sure. And it's crisp. It's pretty crisp for a wheat beer, but it's a wit, and wits do end kind of crisp. We had that pineapple wit in the middle of at the end of the summer with great fruits.
See you guys. Oma.
You hear me?
Yes.
No.
What? Pineapple wit. I heard you. Stop.
Very good. You did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's customers here. I got to say hello.
I don't blame
Hi,
you.
goodbye.
I don't blame you.
Hello, goodbye.
You got a business to run. Before we wrap this up, because we're around that hour mark. Chris, you watched The Mandalorian?
Okay, don't say
I
anything
haven't
about
seen
it.
Season 2.
Me neither, so
I
don't say
haven't
anything.
seen Season 2.
Oh my god!
Neither have I, so don't say anything.
You haven't finished the season one.
I watched the season 1 not sober. The end of season 1, the last episode of season 1.
Season 2 is leaps and bounds better.
So I have to actually watch the last episode of season 1, then I can start getting into season 2.
Season 2 is leaps and bounds
so
better. Go ahead.
I've watched Season 1. It was pretty much the only reason I had Disney Plus at the time.
Yeah.
So once it ended, I canceled it.
You gotta get it back.
I knew Season 2 was coming. Like, you know what? I'm going to wait till Season 2 ends, and then there's some Marvel shows I'll see. And then I'll just sign up again.
Yeah. It's good. Oh, man. Season 2 is better. The last episode is phenomenal. I will say that in this season, there are 2 classic characters who make an
I mean, I know Boba
Okay,
Fett
that's
comes
enough.
back because they already announced he's...
That's enough. Yeah, don't go there. That's enough. What you call it?
It's not a surprise.
He doesn't know. He doesn't have internet.
I've been fortunate enough to not come across any other spoilers.
Yeah, Boba
That's
Fett's not
a
dead.
spoiler. Yeah, I know. I knew he the pit of Rancoon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't die.
I thought he was dead.
No, he went into it,
Yeah.
but his armor probably saved him from being dissolved by the creature's stomach,
Oh.
if I had to guess.
They kind of mentioned a little bit about it.
I read it somewhere like several years ago how he went in there and like they, obviously the big battle and then they left. He escaped, because obviously, but he wasn't relevant to the rest of the movie.
Well, if you think about it, outside of the first, the prequel movies, he had such a small part in the movie series.
Yeah, but a very important part.
Yeah, very sure. Yeah, for sure.
So
Either way.
technically, Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
No.
Wait, I thought the Mandalorian is actually like that's who they refer to that guy, but the Mandalorian are a group of people.
Before Boba Fett, so you watched the prequels, right?
Right? Am I right about that? Is that
What?
true? The Mandalorian, they're all Mandalorian.
Yes.
That it's like a guild or
Kind
a,
of.
or a
There's only one little small way that you can wear the armor and not be a Mandalorian. And that's how Boba Fett, because his father was a Mandalorian, and he had earned, even though Boba Fett is a clone that we learn, right? So
yeah, he kept one.
what's his name kills him.
Boba Fett is technically Jango Fett
Jango Fett is
he's
the
a clone.
father. Yes,
because he's a clone
Exactly.
of Jango.
but so were all the other clones during the Clone War.
I know we're talking about something that's not even real. Maybe this part gets edited out for the
It might.
for some people.
It may or may not. I have to
It's
listen.
not even real. We're talking about histories that aren't even real.
True. But it's interesting. They did a good job with it.
Oh, they did an excellent job.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I know I keep seeing great things about Season 2, and Baby Yoda just alone. I just want to see what hijinks he gets into.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with season 3.
Let's not count our
And
chickens.
And
Baby
it's
Yoda
funny
died.
because
Just kidding.
I just watched the Gremlins movie.
Me too, yeah.
1 and 2. And I'm like, this is like, I'm watching it. I'm like, you know what? This is the original Baby Yoda here.
For sure. It is.
Gizmo all the way.
And then,
Gizmo came after Yoda.
Yes.
But Baby Yoda. I'm talking.
Oh, all right.
I will say that another thing I'll point out that Chris does a very, very good job of. Like, obviously, it's my job to do the social media and all that stuff. And I'll get excited if I hop on to, like, Instagram, and I will get to a photo or something that a brewery has done or another bar has done that I've liked, and Chris hasn't liked it first. It is so rare. He is on point when it comes to
You got to be quick.
Yeah, I'm just lazy. Chris does a good job. So if
Dude, that is, I didn't realize this before starting the podcast, but social media is just a full-time job if you have something you want to promote. That's the easiest part is just sit there and like something for one thing. But I'm like, how do people keep coming up with stuff to post?
Yeah.
Lots
like
of
I can
free
only
time.
drink so much each day. Just spend so much on beer.
Half the job of podcasts is when you're not on the mic. It's the social media part of it, and to keep up. Like I've just came.
You know how much social media I'm on?
That's 0.
Yes, maybe negative.
That's why I got you.
I might
son.
owe it to whoever hands it out.
I got you.
Yeah, thanks. But admittedly, I did see the Twisted Tea thing.
Yes, you did.
You know, I credit my fiance for that.
I used to bug you. I would like say, hey, you gotta post every time we post a podcast out there. You gotta have your social media, put it out there. I just stopped asking.
I'm sorry, and somebody asked me if I was the guy on the podcast. I said yes, and they said, "How can we listen to it?" And I was like,
"You have no idea."
Damn it. I don't remember the actual podcast name right now. I had to actually look up Nick's stream of texts so I could get the right name.
Ask Jen.
And give it to one of my customers. They're like, "Are you serious right now?" I'm like, "I am totally serious."
I show up. I talk on a microphone.
I totally don't remember the exact name of the podcast, and I'm like, I can't just say it and it's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So I actually had to look up your thread of
that took a while.
Text to me and find it.
Yeah. How'd you come up with your name?
I don't remember. I was thinking of when I first decided I wanted to drink and talk to strangers. I thought about just drinking with strangers.
Yeah.
But there's one of the musicians, one of my favorite musicians, Butch Walker, put out a book called Drinking with Strangers. Oh. I'm like, yeah, I can't use that. And then I don't remember how I came up with stories from a bar. I think at first I knew I was going to, of course the idea was to do it in a bar type setting. Not every episode now, certainly. Like now it's more virtual bar, but I thought, what's a good way to generalize it? Because I want to talk to brewers and bar people, but not just, exclusively. I want to talk to people that just have fun stories to tell.
For sure.
Over having a drink. I'm like, stories from a bar. Okay. I think that's how it happened.
That's smart because, like, we sat down and we tried coming up with a name. And I'm not saying that the Capital Brew Podcast is my favorite name. I don't think it was either one of our favorite names. But we came up with a tagline, "What's Brewing in the 518?" And I always wanted to leave it open for us because we originally started talking strictly, like 99.9% of our podcast was talking about beer. And I always wanted to keep it open for what's brewing in the 518, like what's going on locally. And that's why we kind of kept it the Capital Brew Podcast, what's brewing in the 518.
Like, I've talked to my tattoo artists. I've talked to an activist that got Colony to recognize Pride Parade or Pride Month for the first time. Officially. Sure. I did a Haunted Stories episode about Albany with Maeve McEnany Johnson, I think was her name, who worked at Discover Albany. We drank and talked about ghost stories and haunted places in Albany.
I think I listened halfway through that one.
So, I like to leave it open. I like to get in some more local musicians, possibly,
That's why I say,
cool people.
I think that's very smart. I think, you obviously before Jim reached out to us over at Nippertown, you've been on Nippertown for a long time, and I think
Jim reached out to me. He's a super nice guy. I had him on the podcast. Dude, talking to him was incredible. He's been all over the country photographing and all kinds of major.
At some point, we'll have Jim on here.
Yeah, have him on, have a beer, just listen to some of his stuff. He was talking about having to pass up smoking pot with Snoop.
That's crazy.
And Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah, he lives locally, so I mean, obviously, so do you.
Yep.
So, when he reached out to us, he's like, "Where do you want to meet?" Or he asked me, and he's like, "Can we meet at 20?" And I think he thought it was you.
That's okay.
And then I was.
You have my permission.
No. Well, I think he thought that I was like part of 20 North.
Oh, I see. All
I'm
right.
like, no, that's a complete separate entity. But it's cool because he lives close by, so this is a good place to meet.
Sure. And like I said, we can use whatever space we want, except for the table under the TV.
Yeah, I learned where not to set up.
Well, I wasn't. It's just that's a bad spot. Just there's too many people walking around here. Yeah, you're too exposed.
Yeah. Well, if somebody blows up the bathroom, that would really suck.
Well, that's also a risk.
For sure. All right, guys. What do you say? You want to put a pin in this one? Wrap it up.
Whatever you want to do. I mean, is there something in particular that was on someone's mind? The Twisted Tea thing was on my mind, along with the CVS. So I think I got it out of my system.
Yeah. No. I mean, we had the holidays. I recently went to the Great Sack and Dogger Brewing Company.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about them yet?
I've heard about it. I have not been there.
Know about them. Haven't checked them out yet.
All right. Well, I can send you their contact info at some point too. They had great beer. I went, like I said,
Where is it on Route 30? Is that where it is?
It's right off the circle. So if you're going up Amsterdam,
Yep.
you go on the other side of the circle.
Yep.
And it's off on the right hand side.
Yep. Yeah.
That's
it
Route
is.
30?
Yes, it is. It's on Route 30 right before you get to the old Frank's Gun Shop.
What's that bar? Okay, I've been there. I'm surprised.
Frank's Gun Shop's on. It's like you go around the circle. You go towards Broad Alban, and then you get to the light. And you got to take a left.
Okay.
We take a left. You're going up. On your left will be the Adirondack Animal Land. On your right will be the old Frank's Gun Shop.
Yes, I like Frank's.
Frank's new gun shop is on Route 30.
That makes sense.
Farther
Right.
south of the circle.
That makes sense.
Which I've just went there and it is awesome.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're
Frank's.
Amsterdam.
It's all brand new.
I forgot that they moved.
They're in Perth. I mean, it's the same.
They
literally, you could walk from one to the other. I mean, it doesn't take that. I mean, when I say walk, it would take you like probably half an hour to walk. But I mean, like by car, it's probably like 2 minutes.
Our mutual friend Jesse has done business there, so it's he's talked about it. I haven't been there since they've opened up the new place.
I went and checked it out because I was looking to. We won't get into that,
but we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
There's also a really good bar. Like if you go off on that circle and you take a right instead of going through the circle when you're coming from Amsterdam, you take a right and it's off on the Route 66 or Route.
Oh yeah, it's the old barn.
Yeah,
it was a comedy club at one point.
Was it?
Yes.
Their food and their bars. That's a good bar.
My dad was saying we just went up there and hunted a few weeks ago, and we were talking about it on the way up because we have to pass it on the way up. My dad says they do a very good job at that place.
Oh yeah, have you been?
No, I have not. He says
they give you free cheese balls.
Yeah, he said they're doing a really good job. He goes by there; it's very crowded. Yeah. They do a good business. Yeah. Good for them because it's tough to do a good business
up there in the middle
in
of
a rural spot like exactly in a rural spot. I mean, I know you're on Route 30. I'm sorry, that's Route 29.
Yeah,
you're on Route 29, so you're on a major road. But I mean, still,
what's the name of that bar?
I can't think of the
name.
Like
Route 66.
It's something like that. Yes, it is something like that.
So, Chris,
apparently they do a really good job.
Yeah.
There's some.
You had me at cheese balls.
Yeah.
Cheese balls.
They have like this big. Yeah, whatever.
You're a cheese ball.
All right. So, Chris, you got anything? What else you have coming up?
Not sure.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Like I mentioned earlier, I posted a new episode a week or two ago with Jeff Morad from EQX.
Yep.
That was fun. So people can check that out on all podcast platforms.
For sure.
I was working on. I do a movie podcast each week called Popcorn and Pints. You can find that on Facebook.
Well, check it out. And, you know what? If you ever need guests, I think that we can make that happen.
Guests?
Dude, if you guys want to drink and talk movies, that is something we do.
Absolutely.
We record episodes all the time.
For sure. Especially on the Saturday night.
I would be more than happy to crush Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Just crush it.
You're not alone. You are not alone, that's for sure.
Before we do catch out, I am going to say two things. There's 2 points I want. What is Nicolas Cage's real last name?
Coppola.
Yeah, very good. Coppola, yeah.
Coppola, I'm sorry.
Francis Ford
He's
Coppola.
his nephew.
He's the nephew.
He's the nephew, yep.
And my least favorite movie is Richard Gere, or actor is Richard Gere.
Ooh.
Really?
He's a good actor. Don't get me wrong. He's a great actor. I just don't.
He just
like
comes
any
off as such a
movies.
dick.
Yeah, I don't like any movie.
In every movie he's in,
Yeah.
even An Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah. I don't
even
like,
which I saw with Return of the Jedi.
There were some good movies. What's the movie with a oh my god, Soprano, the main character? It's an army movie.
James Gandolfini?
Yeah, he was in a movie with Robert Redford. Who did I say? Did I say Richard Gere or Robert Redford?
Richard Gere.
Oh.
You don't like Robert Redford?
I don't like either one of them.
Oh, man. Robert Redford is, like, in The Sting and Sundance, Butch and Sundance, he was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
See, I said Vin Diesel, and I'm pretty sure he can't read.
I agree with you on the Vin Diesel thing. Although,
And,
once again, what's that movie that he was in that I thought was pretty good? Where he's the Fury.
Fury. Oh,
Yeah.
Black. Black.
No, that's not it. Stupid. He's a Furian or something like that, and he ends up in
We just watched
Carl Urban's in it.
Chronicles of Riddick.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pitch
Chronicles
Black.
of Riddick.
That's it.
Pitch Black.
Once again, Pitch Black
So
is like
there
the
was-
sequel or the prequel.
It's prequel.
Well, Pitch Black was like the beginning
The
of the
prequel.
series, and then there's Chronicles of Riddick,
And then Riddick.
and then there's a Riddick movie,
And I think it's just Riddick.
and I think he's planning for a third one. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Vin Diesel can't read, and I don't. he can't star in a movie that he doesn't have to finance, produce, or write himself.
What was
But
the
he is
movie
able
where
to do
he was
that,
a
sadly
mafia
enough.
tough guy?
Vin Diesel?
Yeah, he was. It was like one of his first movies. It was really early. He went to go fight a guy. He's like, listen, just so you know,
I don't know.
when I was a kid growing up, I felt that to be a true, honest, tough guy, you had to fight 500 people. You had to be in 500 fights. He's like, so I started fighting, and he's like, I reached my 500 a couple years ago. How many you got? As he's getting ready to fight this guy, I don't know, whatever.
I don't remember. I think Saving Private Ryan was his big break, thanks to
Wait,
Steven
he was in
Spielberg.
that?
Yeah.
He dies early.
I never
By a
saw that
sniper.
movie.
Right?
Can I admit that to you guys?
He got shot by a sniper.
I never saw Saving Private Ryan.
You're broken.
I never saw it.
You are broken.
I'm not proud of that, but I am proud of I
watch
never
it.
saw
Hey, I
Titanic.
haven't seen it either.
See?
Are you serious?
No, I never saw
Yeah,
it.
I haven't seen it.
I never saw Titanic,
First
but
of
I'm
all-
very proud of that.
If any
Very.
movie fan cannot be a movie fan unless they've seen every single one of and now his name is escaping me.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks movies.
Nah, everybody reveres him far too much, in my opinion.
Are you serious?
I think he's great, but they revere him way too much. This new movie that came out, whatever
he's
it
got
is.
some stinkers, man.
Yeah, this new
Of
movie
course,
that came
like
out.
Volcano
Yeah, Volcano.
Joe?
No, that I don't know if that was a stinker. That might have, in retrospect, might have been good.
Yeah.
but
Bachelor Party was one of the greatest movies ever.
that was when he was funny, like in Bosom Buddies. That's when he was good. He was Kip Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Him and Peter Scalera,
Yeah.
right? My Life.
Yes.
They do the theme song in the beginning
Well, I was
where
going to
he's
say.
throwing the oranges up in the air.
Yeah.
Fuck, Peter Scalera's grabbing him with the
Do
with
you
the
know?
bag.
Do you know that Billy Joel song was #1 the week I would have been? There's a good chance my parents were listening to that when I was conceived. That was the #1 song.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That's getting real specific. I'm not sure.
It's funny because I looked.
So your dad only lasted like a minute, like 2 minutes.
That's more information than I
I'm
thought I was going
just
to find out
saying
about you today.
that song was. So there was this website years ago, and they shut it down. You would put in your birthday, and it would tell you what songs were like for 3 weeks.
Oh, like top 100, or top 10, or whatever it is.
Yeah, the #1 song for 3 weeks.
That's assuming your parents even listened to the radio
I know.
or whatever.
So that was one of
Or
them.
Well, I mean,
The record.
I remember there being articles 9 months after the Boys to Men song "I'll Make Love to You" came out about a population boom,
Yeah.
or something like that.
See,
Oh, stop it. Now, I will say this. You know that there's a lot of birthdays in March and September.
yes,
Those
My
are
birthday's
those
one
are
of them.
big birthday months. Well, if you backtrack,
Yeah.
your 9 months, the September babies are all New Year's babies.
Yeah.
And the March ones
It's like
are when
February or
the
something.
March ones I want to say are the ones where in
Or
the
January.
springtime when all people are in rut, when they first start when the weather starts to change.
Yeah.
That's when you start getting into it, and that's why all the March babies are. Now that's my theory. I don't know if it's true, but I'm pretty sure it is. You know, if you look back, what is it? From March, you go back to what? You go back to June when it starts to get warm and everybody's wearing like less clothing and stuff.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah, that's when that happens.
When's your birthday?
March. Yeah, Mom and Dad, we're listening to who knows? You're listening to the Partridge Family, probably.
So I mean, my birthday's towards the end of July, so Thanksgiving time frame was
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's funny.
I guess that's a way to kick off the holidays.
Yeah,
That's what. Yeah, that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why there's September and March are always huge birthday months.
yeah. I'm September.
Mhm.
And you're March.
Yeah. Only reason I know that is because, I'm in a place where people are always celebrating their birthday.
Very, very true.
So I know I always have noticed I get a lot of birthdays in March and September.
What was my birthday tradition for, 8 years?
Drinking beer.
No, coming here and doing shots with you.
Well, that's everybody's tradition.
Well, I'm just saying. There was a couple years ago was the last time.
Yeah.
There was some beef that happened with one of acquaintance of mine and one of your bartenders, and you called me the next day angry.
Yeah, well, we're not talking. That's not a story from a bar we're going into.
It is. Well, you're right. We're not going into.
No, we're not going into that. Nope.
All right. Well, Chris, in case you don't know it, Dave here is also an actor.
Are you?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. What
Not
movie?
it was the what was it? The Land Beyond the Pines.
No, Place Beyond the Pines.
Whatever. I never watched it.
The
I never
local
saw.
one.
I never saw
With
that movie
Ryan
either.
Gosling, right?
Yes.
Oh, you've never seen it?
I've never watched that either, and I
No.
was in it.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Gosling robbed my bank.
Yes. Yes. Yep. And Bradley Cooper was in it, I guess.
Where was
Ray
the rap
Liotta.
party?
The rap party was here at 20 North Broadway.
I tried to come in that night.
Oh yeah. None of the actors. Well, a few of the actors showed up, but none of the big names showed up.
Well, you once had Ray Liotta here.
Ray Liotta, Bradley Cooper. I forget who was in it. Like I said, I admit I never saw it.
We'll talk about
In the scene I was filmed in, which never made the movie.
Yeah.
There was Bradley Cooper and Ray Liotta.
Yeah. But
If I'm not mistaken, I think Ryan Gosling ended up over at the Van Dyke at one point.
Probably.
Possibly. Yes.
But Ray Liotta was here one day, and I know you said you never went over and talked to him. But
No,
he was
I
here.
never saw him. If he was here,
Oh.
it's beyond my knowledge.
Wasn't you that? Or maybe
Somebody said Ryan Gosling was here, but I didn't. Once again, I did not see it. The only person I saw here,
Bradley
and I
Cooper?
wasn't sure it was her. It was her. It was Rose Byrne.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not here every minute, so a couple actors might have been
Maybe
here.
was it Purdy?
But they
that told
weren't
us-
here-
One of you guys told me the story of Ray Liotta sitting at the end of the bar, and people
Mm.
came up to him, and he was reading a newspaper, and he put the newspaper down, talked to them.
I
and-
can't say that. I'd have to ask Mike.
Yeah, somebody told me that story. I thought it was you,
That's
but it's probably-
not in my recollection.
All right.
Like you said, the only person I saw, and I don't remember seeing her because she wasn't at the time she wasn't a big name actress. Rose Byrne came in, and I do remember what she had. She had a blackened chicken salad.
Oh, there you go. That's a good. That's a
I
great
handed it.
salad,
I
by the way.
handed it is. I handed it to her, and she left. And then the person that was sitting next to her goes, "Do you know who that was?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "That was Rose Byrne." I go, I can say that. Who the fuck is Rose Byrne?
I don't know
And
who it is.
I had no idea. Now she's become more popular,
Is
and
she?
she's a much bigger name now. But back then, I had no idea who it
Well,
was.
that's it's one of the cool things to see on top of all the great breweries we have now. Schenectady's kind of making a name for itself in the
Movie-wise.
entertainment industry. People are coming in all the time now to film stuff between Albany and Schenectady, so I'm really hoping that keeps up. Obviously, that Amazon show just wrapped.
Yes, it was the
I
one
don't
that
remember if it was.
they were doing it over at the Armory.
I actually applied for that.
They were doing it over at the Armory. They wrapped it up
No.
because I saw
I applied for it in Troy and Schenectady.
Peter.
Yeah.
I didn't get called.
What's the actor's name that's been here a few times? Friends with Seth Rogen.
James Franco.
Yeah, James
you know who
Franco's
does?
been here a number of times.
He filmed at the Rivers Casino before it opened.
Did he?
Yeah, they filmed right here
Well,
in
yeah,
Schenectady.
dude, it's pretty awesome to see right in your own hometown.
For
Like that.
sure.
So Schenectady's come a long way the last decade.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So I'm
I mean,
hoping-
like you wouldn't believe. I mean,
Once,
Well, Grace again
Really
from
hoping-
Schenectady.
the characters. from
The
Schenectady.
characters from Schenectady. Well, what about the maid or the the Brady Bunch?
She was born in Ann B. Davis.
And B. Davis.
Ann B. Davis was from Schenectady. Kevin Green, former Pittsburgh Steeler, Hall of Famer, was born in Schenectady.
So was who's the oh my god, I'm the worst.
Kurt
with names.
Vonnegut, also. There's current.
He's an Arthur.
What's
author,
his
right?
name? From 9.5 Weeks. Help me out here. Did the wrestler? What was his name?
Oh,
Big
he's
guy.
not from Schenectady, but he lived here for
He
a
lived
while.
here for a while. Come on, Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
oh
Yes.
yes, I mean Schenectady's making a little name for itself, and it's great to see. Like I said, we got a lot of great beer places popping up, some entertainment coming in. So I'm hoping with the vaccine coming out, things can start to get back to normal soon.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Then we can meet in person.
And yeah,
I think you have your munchies here at 20 North and eat wings.
yeah.
You can bring us some secrets from the Navy.
Dude, that's what I say. I'm like, you can kidnap and torture me all you want. I wouldn't be able to understand any half of the information that I'm supposed to do or update. But this has been fun, guys. I really appreciate being on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We just hit the 1 hour and a half mark.
Oh, wow. Well, whatever.
It has been fun.
That's what editing is for.
If
That's
I
what editing and whiskey and cigars are for.
I love cigars. Oh, yeah. You looking at my... See? You
No, I'm not looking at shit. You told me that
Oh,
already.
okay.
I have a memory. I don't look at it.
I thought you were looking at my
actually have a
social
memory.
media.
So, I don't even know what that is.
Well, I don't smoke cigars in the wintertime.
No?
No.
It's only a summertime gig?
Yep. Outside.
So what do you do in the wintertime? Like smoke a pipe? Maybe like a meerschaum? What's that?
Oh, there we
There you
go.
go.
There's a new cigar shop 2 blocks away.
Stony Omar.
I love cigars, so all right. Chris, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast.
Hey, Ben, thanks, guys. I've
Thank
been
you. Awesome.
I'm looking forward to getting a chance to chat with you guys. Love the podcast, and,
Yeah, if you ended up
It's-
releasing this as yours, it's been great being on your podcast too.
yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm probably too lazy to do that.
You don't have to do
I will
anything. Just
promote
tape it
the
and
shit
throw it
out
out.
of yours once you have this ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Just put it on raw.
There we go.
Just take it and put it on. Don't even worry about
I'm
it.
not going to edit.
No, you can edit
That's
it.
right up there with rimming it, I think.
Yes.
So,
Oh, boy, you got to edit that part. I know you're not going to, but of course I want
Ribbit with Chris Osborne. I like
rimming it. Just rim it.
that's what I want to be known.
See? Exactly. Now you know how I feel.
Now I got to get rid of it. Fine. All right.
All right, that's it.
All right, guys.
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure.
Later.